One of Samsung's taglines for the Fold 8 is "New shape, new joy." When I first saw that commercial, I thought, that's pretty corny. But after spending time with this phone, I kind of get it now. For me, the Fold 8 changes the vibe of what a fold is supposed to be. Previous folds always felt like serious productivity devices, like something a CEO or someone in a suit would pull out. The Fold 8 feels different. So I liked a lot of what Samsung did with the Fold 7, but after using the Fold 8, I think this might be the sweet spot I've been waiting for. It's like the perfect middle ground between a flip and a fold. One thing a lot of people appreciate about the flip is how easy it is to carry. The Fold 8 isn't going to beat the flip there, but it's a huge improvement over previous folds. It doesn't stick out of my pocket as much. It fits perfectly standing up in my fanny pack. And my husband, who basically lives in athletic shorts, loves it because it's not constantly falling out every time he sits down. I was a little worried the phone would be too wide, but I got used to it really quickly. And the coolest part, I can comfortably grip this phone with one hand in both portrait and in landscape. How many phones can you really say that about? Typing is where the new shape shines. It's less cramped, I'm making fewer typos, and for a phone I use closed most of the day, that's a big deal. You do lose some one-hand ability. It's not as easy to reach across the screen, but if you want, you can just use a floating keyboard and swipe typing is just as good. One annoyance with the shorter form factor, when taking photos, specifically ultra-wide photos, my index finger keeps sneaking into the shot. I had to relearn how to grip it, keeping my finger down or flat against the back. The hinge also feels completely different this year. Once you go past 90 degrees now, it snaps fully open instead of holding at different angles. The snap is ultra satisfying and it opens completely flat every single time, which was not something you could say about the Fold 7. The downside is you lose that traditional flex mode experience. It's not even an option in the settings anymore. But hey, you can still use tent mode though. Coming from taller phones, the shorter display takes a little getting used to. Apps aren't going to scale perfectly, but I haven't run into a single app that felt unusable. Phones have gotten so big that 5.5 inches is considered small now. But for my day-to-day use, I actually think it's a really good size. It's light and it's easy to carry around. Plus, it's all perspective, right? If you're coming from a flip, this feels huge. If you're coming from an Ultra, you might think it's a little too small. But hey, ain't nobody buying this phone for the cover display. You're buying this because you want that bigger display on demand. The funny thing is, I've actually been using the inner display way more than I expected. With my previous folds, I was probably 80% cover screen, 20% main display. With the Fold 8, that's shifted closer to 60-40. A big reason is the ergonomics. Most of the time, I'm actually using it in portrait mode because this new shape lets me comfortably grip it with one hand, almost like an e-reader. I couldn't really do that with the Fold 7 in either orientation, and I think that's why I rarely open it unless I was sitting on the couch. With the Fold 8, I'm opening it way more often. Holding it like this also made me realize how killer this would have been for note-taking or sketching on the go. Makes me a little sad they don't do pen support on foldables anymore. The main display on here honestly gives me mini Galaxy Tab vibes, and that's something I didn't really feel with previous folds. Looking at photos on this thing is honestly my favorite part of owning it. The wider shape just frames them beautifully and makes scrolling through a gallery feel more like flipping through a photo album. Gaming is another area where I noticed the difference. The wider aspect ratio just suits mobile games better. On the Fold 7 square display, games often had to crop content from the sides. Video is a little more complicated. It's a huge improvement over a regular phone, but I expected a bigger bump against my Fold 7. For most widescreen content, the actual viewing area is pretty similar. The biggest difference is you get smaller black bars and the punch hole camera isn't in the way. If you do run into 4:3 content, yeah, it feels like magic. For reading ebooks, browsing the web, or general use, both fold shapes are honestly great. I wouldn't say one is dramatically better than the other, but like I said, because I can actually confidently grip the Fold 8, I'm using it more for those things. The biggest upgrade to the viewing experience might be the anti-reflective screen protector. It cuts down so much on glare and reflections that it basically makes the Fold 7 look like a mirror. And then there's the crease. No, it's not gone, but it's a lot less noticeable than before, especially at off angles. The speakers are decent, just not great. They're loud enough and clear, but with a phone this thin, yeah, there's very little bass. Also, when watching a movie or playing a game in landscape, both speakers are on the same side, so the sound ends up feeling a little off-center. You get used to it, but it's nowhere near as immersive as other flagships. I've been a longtime Galaxy Tab user, so it's been cool seeing Samsung bring more of that big screen experience over to their foldables. And honestly, the software side has come a long way. Google has their own foldable now, so they've put real effort into making their apps scale properly for bigger screens. Samsung has done the same with their first-party apps. Third-party apps are still hit or miss, but Samsung gives you the option to force them into full screen. It doesn't always look great, but at least you have the option. Multitasking, of course, is still some of the best in the business. You can run apps side by side, even side by side by side, or maybe you prefer my personal favorite, a top and bottom split. Game at the bottom, movie on top. Throw a few pop-up windows in, and yeah, you can technically have 5, 6, or even 7 apps open at once. But it's not just about opening a bunch of apps, it's the little details. For example, when you save an app pair for quick access, Samsung remembers exactly how those windows were arranged. So the next time, it brings you right back to that exact layout. Same thing with pop-up windows. Resize a window once, and Samsung remembers that size and position the next time you open it. The Fold 8 gets a 4800 mAh battery. That's about a 9% bump over the Fold 7. I'm ending my days with around 30 to 35% left, compared to under 25% on the Fold 7. It's not a night and day difference, but that extra cushion is nice. If your battery life isn't great at first, don't freak out. Mine wasn't either. I was losing around 5 to 8% overnight, but after about 5 days, it settled down to around 2 to 3%. Charging got a decent upgrade too. 30 minutes used to get you 50%, but now it's over 60% charge. Going from 1 to 100% takes about an hour now, which is around 30 minutes faster than before. Just keep in mind, that's in ideal conditions with the phone cool. If it's hot, it's gonna charge slower. It's still not the fastest charging phone in the market, but this bump makes it easier to live with. 90 minutes plus just felt way too slow for 2026. Phones have gotten to the point where everyday performance is honestly kind of boring to talk about. The Fold 8 has one of the fastest chips on the market, and for day-to-day use, it absolutely flies. The interesting part is what happens once you really start pushing it. If you're gaming for a long time, performance isn't going to be all that different from the Fold 7. Once the phone heats up, it slows itself down to keep temperatures under control. On a foldable this thin, there's just nowhere for the heat to go. And it's not just a gaming thing. If you're filming outside on a hot day, you'll probably notice the display dimming once the phone heats up. The S26 Ultra uses the exact same chip, but because it's bigger, it can stay cooler for longer before that starts happening. I think the Fold 8 cameras are good, just not $2,000 impressive. They're obviously not the best Samsung makes. Get the S26 Ultra if you want that. But for everyday photos and videos, I found the dual cameras to be more than fine. You probably notice it doesn't have a dedicated telephoto camera, but with good lighting, the 2x and even 4x photos are surprisingly usable. That said, I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss having better zoom. There have been so many moments where my daughter is playing at the park, I punch in to get a closer shot, and I'm just underwhelmed with the results. And for parents, I can see this being a sticking point, especially when you're spending this much. Thankfully, my husband usually carries a Pro iPhone or a Galaxy Ultra, so I guess he gets to be the paparazzi for our family. Being able to use the cover screen as a preview is so useful. It lets you use the higher quality main camera for selfies or recording yourself. Plus, people always get a kick out of seeing themselves before I take a picture of them. One of my favorite things about this is the instant photo preview. The second you take a picture, you can see it without having to jump into the gallery. Such a small thing, but a really nice perk of the bigger screen. So what's my final take? Well, I really like it. And the funny thing is, the Fold 8 didn't really win me over because of some crazy spec upgrade. It's a shape. Something as simple as making it shorter and wider completely changed how I use it. It doesn't feel like a productivity gadget anymore. It has more personality. It's a little quirky, a little different, and I'm just drawn to it. I can see a lot of flip owners looking at this and thinking, maybe it's time for a change. Of course, it's still expensive, like really expensive, and for most people, a regular flagship phone is going to make way more sense. But if you're someone who loves tech, you have the budget, and you've been craving for something a little different, I think the Fold 8 will absolutely scratch that itch. I'm typically a flip girly, but this is the first Fold I would actually consider using as my main device. And I'm not just saying that. I literally pre-ordered one.